Welcome everybody to All About Articulation, where we do a deeper dive into the articulation of some of your favorite action figures, while glossing over things like sculpt, paint apps, accessories, character history, because I suck at that, and there are already so many great reviews on YouTube who do that already, and I don't want to waste your time. So, this is the second video in a 4-video mini-series of the NECA San Diego Comic-Con DC vs. Darkhorse exclusive, San Diego Comic-Con exclusive 2-packs. Rather, there's two 2-packs, the Superman Alien 2-pack and the Batman Predator 2-pack. This video is just the Alien figure. Some quick thoughts right off the top. I've never purchased any of the NECA horror figures before. I was a huge Aliens fan. The movies grown up. The Alien 1, Aliens, directed by James Cameron. Those movies blew me away, like everybody else in my generation. But I never really dipped into collecting any of the collectibles or the action figures. So this is my first Alien action figure, and from an articulation standpoint, it's got a lot of articulation. It's got a lot of points of articulation, and the points of articulation do have a lot of range. Was this of the four DC Dark Horse figures here? This was the one that gave me the most headache. It's probably my least favorite of the four, also. So let's just get into it. Okay, so. How do I even... It's weird to even talk about this figure because he's so different from every other action figure that I do have. Because he's not really like... He doesn't have like a human form, although he is kind of humanoid. He does have two arms and two legs and a head, but it's weird how the joints... So I'm going to try my best. I don't know. For those of you who have experience buying Alien figures and know how they normally are and know how this compares to the other ones, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, as you will see. But for those of you who don't have any Alien figures and is thinking about getting this and want just to know my opinions, I don't know, keep watching, I guess. So, he does stand straight and measuring from, but it's very frustrating because he can't stand, I guess, straight in a normal way. I don't even know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but okay, I'm going to try to get him to stand as straight as possible by himself without any sort of help. And so he stands and how do I even say this? So he's kind of on his heels because I can't get him to stand straight, flat-footed, because then he'll tip over. So I'm standing him as straight as I possibly can. All right, there you go. That's that's my story, and I'm sticking by it. And the top of his head, he's just under 10 inches. I wouldn't call him 10. If he were a truck going through an underpass, he would be able to hit a 10-inch tunnel, but just barely. He would probably skim the top of his head at 10 inches. But that's as straight as he possibly can stand, and that's as straight as he possibly can stand. It looks like his legs are bent, but they're straight. Oh, well, at least they're as straight as I can get them. Another quick thought is that if when you're trying to stand him, because he has so many different joints, he has the hip joint here, he has, I guess we'll call this knee point, the first knee, and then the second knee, and then the foot itself doesn't have a hinge, so it can only swivel. So that lends itself some problems. But this part here, whatever this is called, this does also swivel, and the knee also swivels. So there's a lot of swiveling going on, and it's very hard. I've had a lot of trouble just having him stand by himself. One thing that definitely helped me figure out how to stand him was that I stopped trying to stand him using his legs, if that makes any sense. The main part of his body that I use to get him to stand is his tail. If you just think to stand him by his tail and use his legs as sort of like training wheels, then all of a sudden he becomes that much more, I guess, playable and easier to handle. If you just think, okay, how do I want him to stand? How do I want to pose him? However you want to pose him, utilize the tail first. The tail is the key. Not the legs, the tail. Focus on the tail, and everything else will sort of flow like dominoes. Flow like dominoes? Fall like dominoes, flow like water. Oh, whatever. You get it. So that's how I got him to stand, all right? So his arms are very long, very thick. And right out of the box, his left wrist already broke. So there's another thing that bears repeating. NECA, when you buy NECA figures, be very, very careful. Everything just snaps and falls and breaks off and chips and this, that, and the other thing. So be very careful with all of his joints. The head is really long. It goes all the way around. You can look down this far, which is really cool. I was really surprised at the range of articulation that his head had, and he can look up that much. And you can get him into like a lot of really cool poses. The articulation is not lacking. I will say that. It's just hard to get him into a pose and keep him in the pose, because this is not going to stay overnight. He looks good now, but I guarantee if I put him on a shelf, tomorrow morning I wake up, I come back into the room, he's going to be tipped over or he's going to be on the floor. That happens every night. The jaw does open, and then you can actually close the jaw all the way like that. And then you could open his mouth, and then you could sort of pull it out, but you would need some sort of a tool to pull it out. Let me get that tool out. Get my little Swiss Army knife. So that's kind of cool. But again, you want to be very careful because this piece is very fragile. Very, very fragile, and you don't want to break that, okay? Okay, good. Anyway, the arms go up about this much. And so he can pull a hot tub pose. He's got double jointed elbows. So he could definitely bend his arms to very close, way beyond 45 degrees. I would say this is almost like 30 degrees. All right, he's got a wrist swivel up and down, and it rotates. It's very nice. You're not going to have a lot of problems with him articulating into certain positions. And he can do really cool, freaky poses, which I really, of course, appreciate. But the legs are just—he's like a baby deer. He's just always just gonna topple over. You really have to just focus his standing based on how you can get his tail to get a nice base with the tail. A strong, sturdy base with the tail, and then and everything else will be okay. But if you rely on the feet to stand, the legs to stand, because also the footprint is so small too. You know, he's very top heavy with very thin, fragile legs, and he's gonna tip over. So okay, let me move him back a little bit. So we got the arms out the way. The hips, I guess you can do a split. There you go. And there's no swivel. There's no upper thigh swivel, so you're kind of stuck in this position. Oh no, I lied. You could swivel the thigh. It's just that this one won't swivel, and I'm not gonna force it because NECA figures will break if you put too much force on it. So for my figure, the right upper thigh can swivel, the left one cannot. Go figure. The knee, it swivels, it bends that much, and it bends. The first knee can bend that much. The second joint here can it can extend straight, but it can only bend 90 degrees, and there is no swivel here at the ankle, but there is a toe articulation. But for the ankle, it can swing. It can swivel. So this is a very disjointed review of articulation. I know I'm not very well versed in alien xenomorph physiology. I've never owned an alien figure before, so I hope I gave you guys at least a somewhat decent sort of idea of how to articulate this guy and what articulation you can come to expect from him. These back, whatever these things are called, tubes or whatever, they're bendy. They can flex, but once let go, they're gonna go back to neutral position. There is an ab crunch, but only that much. Doesn't seem like I could feel a click. You can't hear it, but I could feel it. Just a click, boom, like that, and that's as far as it goes. And then you can extend the back. Oh no, you can't actually. It just does. You just have one click down, and that's it. But he does swivel though. So you can get him into like a lot of really cool, you know, Xenomorph positions. He can, like he's about to attack. Oh yeah, and also he has like finger articulation, so you can also bend these fingers, bend them down, or move them up, as you can see. All right, how long is this video now? But just about 11 minutes. I think that's all I got on him. If you have any more questions, I mean, just leave them in the comment section, and I'll maybe try to update it. But I don't know. I'm not a huge Alien fan, so yeah, there you go. All right, see you later, guys.